So class 8, now today we are going to start with the discussion of the chapter Comet 1. So I hope that you have opened up in your books, right? So first of all, let us go to the question answers. Here is the first comprehension check. It is going to be displayed here, yes. Here it is, first comprehension check, okay. The first question is, why does Indrani Devi dislike Dutatta's hobnobbing with Dibya? Okay, so what was the meaning of hobnobbing? What was the meaning of hobnobbing? First of all, I want to ask.
Friendly talk.
It is
Friendly talk.
friendly talk. It
Great
was actually a secret meeting.
talk.
Okay, hobnobbing is a secret meeting. Okay, so why she was against? Why she did not like that secret meeting with Dibya? Why she didn't like?
Ma'am, because she thought that the telescope was like a woman who had incinerated her husband, as Dutatta was always busy with Divya during night gazing at stars.
So what is the reason? The reason is that it is because what is Divya? Divya was actually the name of the telescope. Okay, but Indrani Devi did not like hobnobbing with Divya, which is of course a telescope, because Dutatta remained busy for the complete night watching stars in the sky through Divya, and he never cared for his wife Indrani Devi. And moreover, sometimes he also get reluctant to take care of his health. Sometimes he is also not taking care of his health. Okay, so this really irritated Indrani Devi, or Indrani Devi got irritated because of this. And what happened? That she disliked it as her, you can say as, and she felt jealous of her. Okay, and she felt jealous of her, and she felt, you can say, irritated of this, you can say, telescope. Okay, which is of course, you can say, disturbing their family life. Okay, so once again, should I repeat? Yes, please.
No, it's clear.
Clear? Okay,
Ma'am,
fine.
it's clear.
Okay, right. Now the next question is, she is complaining and smiling. Why is she smiling?
Um,
Yes, yes. Yes. Why? Why she is complaining and smiling? So first of all, why she is complaining? Why she is complaining? She was complaining because, yes.
Ma'am, because she thought that the Datta's telescope has cast a spell on her husband,
Okay,
but
it has cast a
she was
spell.
smiling.
Right. We can consider it that the telescope Divya has cast a spell upon her husband. Okay. But why she is smiling then? Why she is smiling?
Ma'am, because she thought that how utterly oblivious her husband was of the practical problems of living. Although his doctor had advised him to take the precaution against the cold, but he didn't remember to put a sweater.
Yes, you can also write down this, but why actually she was complaining? She was complaining and then she was smiling. She was smiling because she was laughing upon her own behavior. Okay, that how she was behaving, she thought, okay, she thought that although she was complaining, but it would not have any effect upon her husband. Okay, it would not have any effect upon her husband, and she knew that, even she knew that if she is complaining, it was not as in a serious tone. It was not in her serious tone that she was complaining. Okay, so what it was of course, you can say her analysis of behavior, that she thought that it was her own behavior which is making her, you can say, laugh. Okay, so first thing is, why she is complaining? She is complaining because her husband Dutatta was too much busy with the telescope Divya. She thought that it has cast a spell on her husband. And moreover, why she's smiling? She's smiling when she was smiling because she was just thinking of her behavior, that she knew that this, you can say association with Dibya or the telescope was not long lasting. Okay, and she was thinking that her husband would that her husband, or she is thinking of herself that she is not, you can say, she is not, you can say, taking it so serious that her husband would live his life with that Dibya. Okay, she's thinking her behavior as a childlike. Okay, she's analyzing her behavior as a childlike behavior. Is it clear? Beta, say yes or no. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, the next question is, what was the Tatta's secret ambition? What was the Tatta's secret ambition?
Like every other amateur astronomer, Dudatta had a secret ambition that he would one day discover a new comet. To him, the telescope marked the fulfillment of the ambition of the lifetime.
Unlike an amateur telescope, first of all, what he wanted like an amateur astronomer. What he wanted, what he wanted to own or
To discover a comet.
to purchase a telescope. Okay, he wanted to purchase a telescope also. And moreover, what else he want? He's also, one of the secret desire was to discover a comet. Okay, to discover a comet. Okay, and for this reason he was sitting for long hours at the rooftop, or at the top of his roof, or at his rooftop, to watch stars in the sky at night. Right? Clear now?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, what did he do to achieve it? What did he do to achieve it?
He longed to have enough money to buy a good telescope and enough spare time to gaze the night sky with the telescope.
So when he got this time, when he got this time
After retirement.
after his retirement.
Retirement.
Okay, after his retirement. So when he got, what did he do to achieve it? So he waited for his retirement. Okay, he waited for his retirement. After retirement, he has got enough money and spare time also to watch. He has got enough money to purchase a good telescope and enough spare time to gaze at the stars at night. And his ambition to discover a comet is going to be fulfilled according to him. Right? Is it clear, students? Is it clear? Say yes or
Yes.
no. Okay, fine. Other students also, please show your thumbs up if it is yes. Right. Okay. Next is, what is the difference between a planet and a comet as given in the story?
According to story, comets are the objects that come from the remote corners of the solar system.
Yes, remote corners of the solar system, it is also given, but that was also given that their orbits are highly eccentric. Okay, right? According to the story, both comets and planets, they orbit round the sun. What is this? That they orbit round the sun, but in case of comets, for planets the orbits are fixed, but for comets the orbits are highly eccentric. Okay, the orbits are highly eccentric, unpredictable. Orbits are highly eccentric. Okay, this is given in the story. Okay, so according to the story, what are there? That the orbits of comets, they are highly eccentric. And when comet comes close to the sun, it has a long tail. Okay, and it shows a long tail, and after some time it goes back into the darkness and never to be seen again for many years, and never to be seen for many years. But planets, if it is once visible, they can be seen forever. So these are the two main differences, that planets, they can be seen forever, but comets, they can never be seen. Clear now? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, right. So I'm once again repeating. So what is the difference? According to the story, it is given that both planets and comets, they orbit around the sun. Okay, but planets have fixed orbits, but comets, or the orbits of comets, are highly eccentric. Okay, orbits of comets, they are highly eccentric, and comets, when come close to the sun, they show a long tail or longish tail, but then it recedes back or it goes back into the darkness and can never be seen for many years. But this is not the case in case of planets. So now coming up to the next question. Next one is, why was Dutatta hopeful that he would discover a new comet soon? Why he was
Dada was hopeful that he would discover a comet soon because he was very optimistic and he knew that the professionals have their pre-assigned programs
very
and that would be looking at faint stars and nebulous galaxy. So in this process, they might miss such comets which they might not expect to see anyway. And as a matter of fact, many amateur astronomers had often discovered new comets which the professional had mostly missed.
Very good. Excellent. Very good answer. So what is, why Dutatta hopeful? Dutatta was hopeful that he would discover a new comet also, because first thing was that he was optimistic. Okay, so what is the meaning of optimistic? What is the meaning of optimistic? Being optimistic is like to be positive. He was optimistic, and he also knew that professional astronomers, they have pre-assigned programs, or they had pre-assigned programs, and what they were looking for, they were only looking for faint stars and nebulous galaxies. What they were looking for, they were looking for faint stars as well as nebulous galaxies. Okay, so he knew that they might miss this kind of, you can say, insignificant comet, and he was sure that he is going to discover a new comet which the professionals might miss. Okay, clear now?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine to all. Understood to all? Okay, now the next question is, why was the Tatta hopeful that he would discover, oh sorry, this is done. Why does the Tatta say, I almost wish I had not discovered this comet? Yes, why he said so?
While returning from one ceremony, Dutatta had said that I almost wish I had not discovered this comet because the discovery of this comet brought unwelcome publicity to the Dutatta. He didn't like such public events and ceremonies.
Yes, very good. Absolutely right. Very good. So why he said, so while coming from one of the ceremony, Dutta has made this comment that I almost wish I had not discovered this comet, because he was introvert in nature. This was of course mentioned in the chapter. Okay, that he was introvert in nature. What kind of man he was? That he was introvert in nature. Okay, as he was introvert in nature, he did not like going to ceremonies and functions. And when he discovered a comet, if discovered a comet, he was you can say, invited to number of functions and ceremonies, and for this reason he was coming late to his house, and he was not paying much attention towards his passion to gaze at night sky. And for this reason, what he said, he wished that he could not have discovered this comet. Okay, so main one reason is that he was an introvert, and another main reason is that he wished that he was not able to pursue to follow his passion to gaze at night sky. Okay, to gaze at night sky. That's clear now.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
That, that's it. Next is, why is his wife unhappy about the discovery? But why his wife was unhappy about the discovery?
Datta's wife Indrani Devi was unhappy with the discovery of this comet because she thought that the comets bring bad luck and cause unnatural calamities to Earth. She also wished that a good man like Datta should not have been associated with the discovery of comet.
Very good, very good. Absolutely right. So I think that you have paid much attention towards the chapter. So what is this? What is this? The reason? The discovery of the new comet made Indrani Devi unhappy, or Indrani Devi unhappy because she was superstitious in nature. Okay, why? What is the reason? She was superstitious in nature, although she had acquired an MA degree. She had acquired an MA degree, but she was superstitious. Okay, she thought that arrival of a comet or a comet bring calamities to the earth, and such a good man like the Tatta should not befall to any, you can say, calamity, and should not be associated with bad luck. Okay, right? That the Tatta should not be associated with any kind of bad luck. Okay, so this is the reason. Somil, I have unmuted you a number of times.
Yes.
Now got this answer? Clear?
Yes.
That's fine. So this is only the one part that we have read. Now next, afterwards, coming to the next series of questions that we are going to do here. Yes, here is, how did Sir John get hold of James' original manuscript? How he has got hold of his original manuscript?
Sir Sir John got hold of James' manuscript from Mr. Taylor, who was the editor of the Nature and was also the good friend of Sir John. He met him at the lunch in the club, where the Taylor showed the paper to Mr. Sir John and asked him for his opinion before sending it to a professional referee.
Yes. So why he asked, Sir John got hold of James' original script from Mr. Taylor, who was the editor of the journal Nature, for which for which James had said his paper to be published. He has sent his paper to be published in this journal, Nature. So he met Sir John during lunch hours or at lunch, or he invited Mr. John to lunch. Why he invited him? In order to get his opinion. He wanted to know what is his opinion before sending it to the press for being published. Okay, actually he wanted an expert advice. Okay, he wanted an expert advice on the matter, because what was written in the paper was not a common thing, or it was not a common phenomena, and he was also afraid that if this paper would be published, it will definitely cause lot of, you can say, panic around the world. Okay, he wanted to know the reality mentioned in the paper. Okay, so what you will write down? You will write down that Sir John got hold of James' manuscript from Mr. Taylor, who was the editor of the journal Nature. Mr. James has sent his Mr. James has sent his paper to be published in this journal, and Sir John was invited by Mr. Taylor at lunch, as he wanted to know his opinion about the he wanted to know the opinion about the matter contained in the paper, whether it was right or not. Right? That is clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, fine. The next one is, What is the important point the paper makes? What is the important point the paper makes? What is the important
The,
point?
the important point that the paper makes is that Comet Datta is likely to collide with the planet Earth.
That comet Tatta is likely to collide with planet Earth, and all the human race on from this, you can say, Earth would vanish. How much time? In almost how much?
Months.
How many months?
10 months.
10 months. Okay, in almost 10 months, right? Okay, next. Why does Sir John say that James' paper should not be published? Why he said so?
Sir John said that the paper should not be published because he was afraid that this dreadful news of the inevitable collision of the comet with Earth might cause the widespread panic in the world and
Very
the
good,
people
very
will be
good.
afraid of this news.
Yes, because he was afraid that if this paper would be published, or he was afraid that with the publication of this paper, this would create panic around the world about the inevitable, means which cannot be avoided, about the inevitable collision of comet Dutatta with that of Earth. Okay. So the last question is, what do the two men finally decide to do? What they decided to do?
The two men finally decided to organize a secret conference of international experts to plan to avert the impending calamity that the comet Dutatta is going to collide with the planet Earth.
So what he was planning, especially he was planning, the both men, they finally agreed on a point, or they both agreed on a point to organize a secret conference of worldwide experts. Okay, why? To seek their advice, to find a countermeasure. Okay, to find a countermeasure means how to control it. Okay, to find a countermeasure in order to avoid this kind of collision and the calamity that is going to befall upon Earth. Okay, so what he wanted, they wanted that this kind of calamity, how it can it be avoided, or how it can be, can say, contradicted. Okay, or how it can be solved. For that purpose, they wanted to seek the advice of worldwide experts, and for this reason they have decided to organize the conference. That's fine now.
Yes.
Okay, so this is all about the question answers. Now what you have to do is that you have to write down these question answers in your fair notebooks. Now if you have any doubt in any of the question, just tell me, just raise up your hand so that I can clear the confusion. Is it okay to all? No one is saying anything. Pragati is saying fine. Okay, right. That's fine. Okay, Suguntas is of course coming, right? So now, again, I'm repeating that you have to write these question answers in your fair notebooks. Complete this chapter. Tomorrow we are going to start with the next chapter, that is Comet 2. And yesterday also I have told you about punctuation, the rules of punctuation we have discussed in the class. Now what you have to do is write solve the back exercise given in your books, okay? So that we just have the you can say practice also, okay, so that you can also come to know where we were wrong. Okay, this is just a practice. Okay, so now I just want to have a short discussion